Apropos of absolutely nothing. On February 7th, 1987, in front of about 15,000 people at the Forum in Inglewood, California, the Los Angeles Lakers played a game against the Sacramento Kings, a game in which they started by going on a 29-0 run, which means they scored 29 points until the Sacramento Kings were able to score two. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who, listen, Drake just opened his mouth. Somebody give me some views right now. It's going to happen. If you want to see a less viewed video that's about like real hip hop and stuff that's super positive, check out the one I just did on IDK back there. Man, he's one of the best out there. And if you want to just love and not just hate, go check out that video. But listen, we got to talk about Drake because, we got to talk about Drake not as a musician, but as a social media poster, right? That's kind of who he is right now. We have influential politicians who just become posters and not politicians. And we now have musicians who become posters, not just musicians. And so we need to go on to his Instagram and we need to take a look and look around and see what's going on because a lot of people are talking about his Instagram right now. So I thought I would do that and sort of add my touches and my takes on these things as well. So here he is. Here's Champagne Poppy, steak.com, steak.com. Never forget, that's his real boss. His real boss is not Universal Music Group. Where he gets his money from is the online gambling company that is explicitly targeting men from the middle and lower middle class and trying to extract as much wealth from them as possible and have them develop a crippling gambling addiction. That is their goal, and that is Drake's number one aim on earth. Not to make your body rock, not to communicate his soul. It is to steal money, to take money from poor and middle class people and make sure it all goes up and up and up and up and up to some Australian billionaire. All right? Steak, 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 steak. And then we see just this post, steak, right here, where he pretends that he's down so much he's posting this to get the $2 million. Hey, Drake, I say you like the lampshades. Why are you putting a lampshade on so hard? Why are you acting like you're getting $2 million? Because you really need it. Okay, they give you the money to gamble. You don't gamble real money, and you convince real young men, and mostly men, to part with their money so that you can end up with it. Okay? Nothing else that I'm going to say in this video is 1/10 as odious and disgusting as this thing that Drake keeps on doing, and we should never, ever forgive him for doing it. But you want me to talk about this, and I don't blame it. I got to put my glasses on so I'm able to read this perfectly for you, and then we're going to break it down very carefully, okay? I grew up non-confrontational and always treated this game as a sport where my pen won gold. But these days, the podium has been hard for all of us to ignore. I understand that this next chapter may leave you feeling uneasy, but I hope you see my honesty as clarity and not charity that answers some questions, especially about the unanswered texts you've been sending me. Tired emoji? I don't know what that emoji is. So that's what I want to talk about now. I want to, like Naughty by Nature, take it frame by frame it. Okay? Let's really study these lines. Let's figure out what he's talking about and what he is saying. So beyond the fact that he wants to rob from the poor to give to the rich with his gambling schemes, I grew up non-confrontational. Who's you? That's the question. So this is a cryptic message, and so he's demanding that we decrypt it. So shall we decrypt it, decryptors? Shall we do that? You may hear my 2-year-old in the background. I got to record this video. She's just chilling over there. She's supposed to be napping, but I guess, she wants to hear what I have to say about Drake's Instagram as well. I grew up non-confrontational. I read this as a general you. Now, there's two yous, I think. There's Kendrick you, LeBron you, there's the general haters of Drake you, and then there is everybody you. So here he is saying he grew up non-confrontational. What does that mean? How do we know that? Why would we know that Drake grew up non-confrontational when he has defined his adulthood primarily by confrontations with other people? Pusha T, Meek Mill, okay, Serena Williams, okay, UMG, okay. I mean, how would we know that? How would how would we know that he grew up non-confrontational when he primarily defines himself by confrontation, isolation, and loneliness? What's he trying to say? That if hip hop is a sport, as Screwface says, or as I say, hip hop is a competitive art, that the competitive The competitive nature of this art is alien to him, and he doesn't actually understand what the culture is all about. Is he trying to say that? Is he trying to say that he was born outside the culture so he can never perfectly understand it? Because I feel like there's lots of people saying that, but not really him usually. Doesn't matter. Let's go on. And always treated this game as a sport where my pen won gold. So you grew up non-confrontational, but you treated the game as a sport. So which is it, Drake? Is it confrontational or not? Are you confrontational or not? Why would you come to this sport? Where my pen won gold. Won gold. So he's trying to say he's at the top. He's trying to say that he's the number one winner. Why would you use the term pen when many people know that you have ghostwriters? I don't know. That's not for me to say. I'm just saying my pen won gold. Okay, it's his pen, right? Maybe he handed the pen to someone else to write the lyrics, and then they gave the pen back to him, and that won. Okay. So all of a sudden we're away from like street sports, right? We're now in Olympic sports. Like I don't really think of hip hop as, Olympic gymnastics. I don't think of it. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's not really what I associated with, but that's fine. So he continues. But these days, the podium has been hard for all of us to ignore. Now, this is a grammatically incorrect or just a grammatical sentence. These days, the podium has been hard for all of us to ignore. The podium has been hard to ignore. So he's implying that they're the three top people, of which he is not one of them. And it's been hard to ignore. Is he talking about the top of the podium? Is he talking about Kendrick? What does he mean? He's trying to be cryptic and cool and be like, oh, they don't know what I'm talking about. But on the other hand, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not an effective sneak diss or passive aggressive threat if I don't understand at all what you are talking about. Next line. I understand that this next chapter may leave you feeling uneasy. Who's you? Drake, do you really want to be talking about making people feel uneasy when you have been credibly accused of grooming behaviors? Have you not maybe sent some messages, written some things that make people feel uneasy? Especially if those people might not be of age? Or maybe might make people feel uneasy that you are writing those messages. Uneasy. Who is you? Might leave you feeling uneasy. So is he trying to say Kendrick? Is he trying to say Kendrick is going to feel uneasy? Is he trying to do the unbothered thing again when it's like obviously Drake is the bothered one? And not for nothing, easy, the term itself comes from the French word aisé, which means rich. Doesn't really matter. But I hope you see my honesty as clarity, not charity. The idea, Mr. Graham, Mr. Steak, that you think that honesty could be charity. Charity, benevolence for the poor, okay? That honesty could be charity. It cannot be charity. Charity, honesty is the bare thing, is the bare minimum of what you owe anybody who you are in interactions with. He is implying directly that his default is deceit. And that this honesty, which he is trying out in this weird, cryptic, say nothing, do nothing post, is somehow his clarity. He is talking about clarity in a post that is intentionally obscure. These words are opposite, obscure and clarity, clear and obscured. The answer that answers some questions, especially about the unanswered texts you've been sending me. Again, who is you? Unanswered. Answers some questions about the unanswered text, using the same word twice in one sentence. That's no big deal. This whole thing is giving me super weird vibes because what's he saying? I think what he's trying to say is that, he's been taking some hits. Drake's just been taking hits. But the whole time, man, he's just been getting those gunshots. He's just been getting those shots, but he's just chilling, man. He's just waiting for his time. Okay? You can't phase the boy, That's what he's saying. You can't phase him. Man, unbothered, undefeated. His pen wins gold. He's not going to respond. I mean, besides with the heart part 6, that's a response, but that's not. And the Fighting Irish freestyle, okay, that's okay. And the stupid gunshots in the tour, okay. And appearing on XQC's channel and talking about being unbothered, okay. And whatever, 2 weeks ago, you released the song Give Me a Hug, okay? Drake is saying that these are unanswered texts. They're not. They are unanswered points. Okay? They are misses. The reason that I started this whole thing off with the story of February 7th, 1987, when the Sacramento Kings went down 29-0, is not that the Kings weren't trying. They were not unanswered texts. The Kings were trying to score points and they just couldn't. All right? Michael Cooper, he was all over it. Kareem was all over it. Magic was all over it. Everybody. Okay? Drake, they're not unanswered texts, they're unanswered points. And let me tell you, that game ended fairly poorly. 128-92. The first quarter ended 40-4. And I think that's basically where we are right now with Drake. The first quarter is over. Drake scored 4 points. I'll give him 4 points for Family Matters. You know, song has a little bit of motion, you know? But like, it's 40-4. And he's sitting there, and this whole thing is giving me heavy. You know how you kids say, "Oh, this is giving," like you always talk about. This is giving. You know that slang that you all use. This is all giving heavy Papa John's vibe. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I got to put in my headphones here. I got to share the sound. I don't know if you remember this when this happened. This was a pretty fascinating thing that happened a little while ago, where Papa John was famously using the N-word and got fired as CEO of his own company, and he left this message. This is how I read Drake's Instagram post. Wait, I can't hear anything. Okay, here we go. Okay, stay tuned. That's what this message is saying. This is Drake saying he's had over 40 pizzas in 30 days and that Mark Shapiro should be in jail, and he's not even in the pizza category. All right? That's what this is. Like, don't try to be mysterious and cagey. Like, I think you should really take the advice. I believe, I don't know if it was Fat Joe on the Big Pun album or Big Pun himself on the first album, but there's a line where I believe it's Big Pun says, "Go that way." Like Drake, buddy, go that way. Either come out with a scorching album in which you absolutely put your pen back at the podium that's hard to ignore. Weird, weird, weird way to write it. Or shut up. Just keep your gambling money. But like, what is this? 40 pizzas in 30 days. The day of reckoning will be coming. that's that's all I'm saying. On the unanswered that hopefully I've eaten 40 pizzas in 30 days, and I hope that you see my honesty as clarity and not charity that answers some questions, especially about the unanswered texts that you've been sending me. So there's my take on it. Next video I'm going to be releasing is about a Chilean underground post-punk rock band. So come check that out too, all right? Music is alive. Rap has never been better, all right? Just so you know, Magic Johnson was outscored in that game by both Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Adrian Branch. So I'm a Celtics fan. I don't know what happened in the game actually where the Celtics played the Lakers. Feel free to tell me in the comments. Feel free to tell me in the comments who won that game. Go ahead. I don't know. I didn't even watch the game. Tell me, did Jaylen Brown have a good game? Did Jason Tatum have a good game? Tell me in the comments because I didn't watch it. I haven't even been watching compilation videos and highlights and videos explaining how this is why the Celtics are going to win the championship. All right. Peace and love to everybody all over the world. Until next time, there's the camera.